This is Claudia Manchanda, radical herbalist, and I'm here to talk about this tree called Gong Tong, dove tree or handkerchief tree. It's really frustrating when trying to learn about trees and all you see is the colonial history. So when I looked up this tree, I saw it was called handkerchief tree, and I read that the Irish plant hunter Augustine Henry, riding his pony in Hubei, said it was the strangest sight he'd seen in China, like the branches had been draped in thousands of ghostly white handkerchiefs. So this tree in China is called the dove tree, and it's pronounced, the Chinese is Gong Tong. I don't know the proper pronunciation, I've got to learn it, but it's named after a concubine of the Emperor Yuan in the Han Dynasty, and after being years of war, the Hun Khan asked to marry the emperor's daughter to cement peace, but the emperor didn't want his daughter married and asked someone from his harem, and Zhao Zhuan married Wang Xiaozhong, and her tomb is in Hot. She's portrayed as a sort of heroine that made a huge sacrifice to live with barbarians, and is represented by being homesick, and apparently she used to send letters by dove which stood on the branches of trees that either looked like this. The stories that I read are varied, so you'd have to look it up. The botanical name of this plant is Davidia involucrata, again a Chinese plant, an endangered Chinese plant. In fact, it's been so desecrated from its native western and south central China, where it typically grew in Yunnan, Hubei and Sichuan, but it's rare now, so it's nationally protected, and yeah, it's an endangered species on the point of extinction in the wild. It's named after a French Catholic missionary called Maman David, David, the same missionary who Budleer is named after. And he describes it in 1869, where it was growing 2,000 meters above sea level in the mountains in southwest China, and that's who Davidia is named after. And it's a monotypic plant, meaning that it's the only existing species in its whole Davidia genus, and it's called a botanical living fossil because it's still alive the same as it was in the Cenozoic tertiary period of 100 million years ago. The name involucrata means rolled inwards, and it describes the two white bracts, or the asymmetrical modified leaves that are around the flower, and that bit is the flower, that middle bit. And it's thought that the white bracts around it attract pollinators, and it's these bits that sort of blow in the wind and look like hankies. So, as I said before, this tree is monotypic. It's the only existing species of the now Davidia, previously Narcissi family, and it's the same as it was from the fossils found in the Cenozoic tertiary period, dating back 100 million years ago. The leaves of the plant are heart-shaped, and that's cordate, and they have serrated margins, as you can see, and the apex, that bottom bit, is called acuminate. What's quite interesting about this plant is it, it flowers in April to May, which is now, and it was so popular in sort of in the kind of 18 and early 1900s. So when it flowered, Kew Gardens would announce its flowering for people to come and see, and even the national newspapers would announce its flowering. Once it flowers, later on, it has a fruit which is a drupe, and the drupe flowers look a bit like the colour of olives, but they're the size of walnuts, and they fall onto the ground and they take up to 2 years to germinate. They fall in autumn. The fruits, yeah, as I said, they're a drupe. The pear shape, the botanical name is oblate, and they start off as purpley green and then they turn brown. Apparently the foliage is scented. I actually can't smell it right now. Because this tree is so endangered, it hasn't been studied as much as other plants, and it's really find it hard like any traditional medicine about the plant. But I did find a paper that was translated from Chinese, and the main chemical groups that are found in the plants, the secondary metabolites, which are chemicals that the plant has made to adapt itself to life, not for energy. Triterpenoids of the taxarane and ursane type, lupain terpenoids. It has betylenic acid, which is like very anti-cancer and antiviral. It contains tannins of the ellagic and ellagic acid derivatives. It has phenolic acid derivatives, caffeol acid derivatives. It has lignans, alkaloid glycosides, and different phenolics. I'm now going to talk in biochemical gobbledygook, so this is for the biochemists and plant scientists out there. So it has a gallitalin in it called davadin, and that binds to mu opioid receptors. It modulates cytotoxicity in hepatocellular carcinoma, and it inhibits something called sumoylation. And sumoylation involves conjugation of small ubiquitin related modifier to lysine residues, which modulate transcription, cell cycle, DNA repair, and innate immunity. Abnormal sumolation is a key factor in neurodegeneration decline, viral disease, cancer, and Davidin inhibits HIV, human simplex viruses, herpes simplex viruses rather, and Epstein-Barr virus. Other studies have shown that Davidin also modulates the expression of ZEST homolog 2, or the gene EZH2 that codes for histone methyl transferase, which modulates structural proteins giving shape to chromosomes. So by inhibiting that, it's also cytotoxic and pro-apoptotic in hepatocellular carcinoma. I also found another paper that talked about the David tannins, they were called. One was called David-granitic acid A. It studied Davidin, granitin A, pedunculigin, and threogallioigratin, and all of these were active against drug-resistant bacteria and oral squamous carcinoma cell lines, so not in the body. But they found that the same tannin, that Davidin, was the most powerful. Another study described these neolignins found in the bark of the tree called Davidia sides, A and B. The leaves have been studied for their chemicals that contain caffeolalic galactoic derivatives, caffeic acid, methyl caffeic, chlorogenic acid, and methyl chlorogenate. All of these have antiviral, anti-cancer, and metabolic modulating pathways. There are water-soluble phenolic compounds such as involucrata A and B, and they're disaccharide glycosides. So sorry for the gobbledygook, but I just wanted to tell you just how fantastic and beautiful these plants are. You can see how they're falling all along the ground. And I had to do this video now because the flowers are all dropping and they might not be here next week.